I'm delighted to be here. This morning I've spoken to a group of people and I was telling them how to build their dreams as well. So that was why I came into a little. So it's all part of the whole concept. You know, today is July 4th. And I celebrate July 4th, not because I'm not patriotic. I'm a Nigerian. I'm very proud to be a Nigerian. I'm an woman with a globalized life. So I'm very proud to be a Nigerian. But I love celebrating July 4th because of dreams. America was not built on oil. They make oil, they get oil from my backyard, so I know what I'm talking about. America was not built on oil. You have seen the film. America was built on people's dreams. People who had dreams and were willing and able to do things to make it work. And that is why anytime I have the opportunity of coming to talk like this, I get very excited in my spirit. And I always ask people to give me the time so that I don't, because you know, the Bible says that the word is in my mouth and it's burning. Is that also? But I didn't become like this in a day. When somebody introduced avenues to wealth to me, then it was holidays and cash. And I had the word net before he said walk. I said this is not for me. I walked away. And I said this is not for me. And it's not based on what people have said. It's based on my own experience. I'm a very inquisitive person. And so I have discovered one or two things while I was in school, while I was serving, and I jumped into it. And I get my feet and my fingers burnt. So I said, I'm a professional. As a doctor, I should be able to achieve something with my life. So why run around? But I persisted because the thing about it is that I'm a very curious person and I encourage you to be curious. So I went and looked for information and I was seeing amazing things about the network marketing. I said, doesn't work. But the question now was, how do I now make it work? Apologies to the person that brought me. He has been a phenomenal success in it. But his model will not work for me. Now, so is there. He was one that brought me. But I just discovered his model will not work for me. Because he travels all over the place, jumps up and down. And I said, as a matter of fact, at that time I was still in training. How will I be able to jump up and down like this? When I have calls to take, I have students to teach, I have patients to treat. And yet I know that what I'm doing will not set me free. And this has a potential of setting me free. Until I started seeing things, how people were doing it. And people, like he said, anybody that has done something that has worked, even if you have a different idea, you can propound your own idea. Nobody says you shouldn't. But at least you must give respect to somebody who has done something and it has worked. And the truth is this, even in my profession, I'm a psychiatrist. And I say it everywhere. In fact, there was a time chairman was telling me, we were in France. And he said, I've discovered that where Nigeria is because we don't have many people in your field. Then, I didn't ask him why, but I started pondering. And I think I know that that's actually the truth. People don't know what it is. And they are not willing to find information about what it is. And they go around with erroneous beliefs. And the same thing happens in network marketing. So now the question is this. How will you, I've seen some people in ties there, I've seen Malgad there. How will you make it work with the kind of work you do, sir? That's the question we should ask ourselves. Because it's not every one of us that are doing those works because of money. Some, if I don't train people, for example, what is the future of this country? Do you understand? So I want to still do what I'm doing, but at the same time I want to be free. I want to even be able to do what I'm doing even if you don't want to pay me. Yes. Yes. Because money is coming from somewhere else. People don't know, they will say you love money. Don't worry. People will say all sorts of things. You have to have a dream. Now the question is this. How? I don't know. I will use the PowerPoint, but I want you to pretend it's not there. Do you understand? Because if you have to use PowerPoint and all these things, then how will you work? Do you have this kind of facility? Do you? So you should be able to explain to everybody. If you are in the aircraft, for example, shouldn't you be able to market it to somebody? Napkin. Napkin. Yes, just as you carry around. So I'm going to do more of writing, and I'm going to be short. I'm going to be straight to the point. But the thing is this: look at this equation. 2 times 2. 4. 4 times 2. 8. 8 times 2. Can you do that? Can you do that? Yes. Then you should be able to succeed in this. You should be able to build $1 million business. As long as you can do 2 times 2 is 4. If you have challenge with doing that, I may not be able to guarantee you. No, because you have to be factual now. Do you understand? Sometimes I see patients, and at the end of the day, I just tell them, see, with assessment and everything, you will not be able to function well in this profession. For example, if you have somebody who is having seizures, for example, do you want the person to be your driver? So there's no, it's not sentimental. If you cannot do 2 times 2 equals to 4, 4 times 2 equals to 8, 8 times 2 equals to 16, maybe the network is not something. But I'm sure, is there anybody who cannot do this? Is there anybody who cannot do this? Eh? Not here. So all of us can do this. Now, what do we mean by this equation? Let's assume that this is made there. You understand? Let's assume that this is made there. I sponsor 2 people. You have known what it means to sponsor, is that not so? So it means that you are willing and able to support. Catholics will know it. You always get sponsors for your marriage. And what it means is that if there's something going wrong in the marriage, you fall back on the experience of the sponsor. Is that not so? If you knock on the door of the sponsor at 10 p.m., for example, the sponsor will not say, please go away. I've been somewhere, somebody knocked on the door of another person, and the person may see, just is a very crisis-prone zone. Please, I cannot allow you to my house at this time. That will not be a sponsor. Do you understand? So somebody is ready and willing to guide you, to help you get your business going. Is that also? Now, if I teach these 2 people, do you understand? To be able to sponsor 2 other people. Are you getting my point? What does it mean? That means my organization is going to fall. But I won't stop there. I will be able, if I teach these 4 people, I may not have to teach them directly, and I may have to. Are you getting my point? Because the issue is this. How do you teach? I was telling people in the morning, I said, I got a call from one of my younger brothers, and he was saying, oh, you don't know what you did for us. Because as at the time our last sister was growing up, you already left the house. So our own mentality is different. You are the one that taught us this. I didn't teach them. I didn't say, this is what you must do, this is what. I was doing those things and they were following. Are you getting my point? Yes, so you got this, your 2 people. And you help them to sponsor these other 2 people. For example, by your sizzle session. What do you mean by sizzle session? That's why this crowd thing, I speak naturally. Not all of you can. I'm trying to do a form of therapy for somebody who just won't stand before a crowd. Do you understand? But you can have what's it called? You can go to Mr. Biggs. You can go to your house. I have sponsored somebody in Mr. Biggs before in this business. This Mr. Biggs on this road. Do you understand? We were there, we ate. I showed her the business, and she signed up. Do I need to have an office?
No.
But in this business, what happens is this. By the time I'm talking to your prospect for you, you are there, you are looking at me. You will be modeling yourself after what I'm doing. Is that also? Yeah. Naturally. In fact, my training is like that as well. I see my consultants. Well, I'm a fellow now myself. I'm a consultant myself. So I do it also for people. People look at me, how I interact with patients and all those. I say, okay, and they take notes. I do that when I'm with my seniors as well. They don't need to turn and say, Dr. Okunoda, this is what you do, this is what you do, this is what you do. Sometimes they do. Are you getting my point? That's what it means to sponsor. So at the end of the day, by the time I've taught these 8 people as well to be able to do what I do, I will have how many now? 16 people. So at the end of the day, I have 16 people in my team. Is that also? Yeah. Do you realize now that the people that came directly from me are 2, yes, not 16? But my team is growing. My business is growing. My organization is growing. It's a business. Because one of the fears I had was, how will I have time to be running up and down? But has it not been solved there? Yeah. Because, see, I saw one woman leave the other time. She's not my downline. She's in my team. My wife is my direct downline. Our HOD is my wife's downline. She's the downline of the HOD. But she relates with me because, of course, they believe that I can do the whatever. She has had people that have come into the organization through me. She comes to my office, I'll show them the thing, she follows up. Do you understand? That is something like that. Is that also? Yeah. Now, but let's look at, because we are playing with numbers here. Let's assume that with one addition, just one, I sponsor 3 people directly. Just one addition. Is that also? Instead of 2, I decided that I'm going to do 3. And those 3 people now, I help them to sponsor 3 other people. I teach them how to sponsor 3 other people. Is that also? Yeah. Until I got to the 3rd level. We are playing with the 3rd level. You know, there's no limit to how deep you can go. Yeah. But I don't like setting. If you want to get to America, you understand? You first of all say, okay, let me go to Murtala Mohammed first. Don't think of George Washington first. Sometimes you may be discouraged. I don't know how many years I've spent in my medical education. If they have told me it's going to take that number of years, maybe I won't do it. So let's take this 10 first. I mean, this 3 levels first. Now look at the difference between 81 and 16. What's the difference? 65. 65. What does this mean? It means that for me that started with 2, or when I decided to start with 3, the difference in the organization I have built, the number of people is 65. But was the difference really 65? The difference was just 1. Are you getting my point? Yes, sir. I had a talk somewhere. I said little differences that leads to great changes. Are you getting my point? Yes. Just little, just one addition, and we are talking about 51. Is that also? Yes. Now let's say you added 2 instead of 3. You decided to do 5. What does it show you? 625. 625. Please, what is the difference? 544. But the difference is really what? 2. What is coming up in your mind? What is coming up in your mind? How to get the 5 people. But you know that the 5 people translates to what? 625. Do you think of how to get 625? You just think of how to get 5 people. Is getting 5 people, is it a possible thing? Yes. Can you achieve it? Yes. But don't you see that getting 5 people now leads to getting 625 people? is that the image of network that you had before? Because the image I had initially was that I'll be running around the place like a madman. Well, they call my patients mad. I don't want to be a patient. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
If this is possible for you, say aye.
Aye.
If it is not possible for you, say nay.
Yeah, hi, Sammy.
So, you see now, it means that working with only 1 to 2 more people can produce much greater results. You have seen it yourself. Do you understand? Is that also? Only work with more people once the first 5 are self-sufficient. And what does it mean to be self-sufficient? Once they can reproduce what you do. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Once they can reproduce what you do, that means they are self-sufficient. They have become consultants. Because that's how they certify me. That Dr. Okunoda, you two can do what we do now. In fact, it's like a call to come and shake everything. You have become a colleague. Is that also? Yeah. That's why when he said I'm a professional networker, I know what it means. Are you a professional networker? Can you reproduce? Do you get my point?
Yeah.
Let's move on. Now, the salesman's failure syndrome. I love this one so much. Most people don't get involved in business, in anything, because they believe they don't know how to sell. Although, I was like that. My father was a banker, my mother was a school teacher. Everything I knew was on the books. To sell water to somebody that is thirsty, difficult. Do you understand? But when I saw that what I was doing would not give me freedom, I started seeking for information. And I discovered along the way that I must know how to sell. In fact, I now discovered that what I do in the consulting room is more or less selling. Do you get my point? Somebody, I said to somebody, he gets interest in me and nothing. But now, do you really need to sell? Because this is called relationship marketing. Are you getting my point? Do you really need to sell? People who are professional salespeople here may fail. That's why we say the salesman failure syndrome. Do you get my point? Because the professional salesperson wants to get 625 people or 780 people or whatever, and he wants to sell to each one of them. Are you not going to die? Are you getting my point? Yes. But what will a networker do? We sponsor people. I've explained it to you. Don't let me. And Brian Tracy said something. In his own case, use sales. He says sales is teaching. Is that also? Sales is teaching. If you can teach, can I see your answer? You can explain something to another. You don't need to be a professional teacher like me. I'm a lecturer, so I'm a professional teacher. Fellas, a lecturer, be teacher. Is that also? But the attraction there is the teaching. That's why you see me teach. Now, look at where the difference is. This is you, for example. Is that also? You teach Joe what we have said. Are you getting my point? How to sponsor. And teach Jan how to teach to sponsor Jim. Me, I would like love to say this is Gian, but and Pam, so that you can know that these people here is not Jim. Are you getting my point? Do you know that you cannot, because what we usually do is that, let me see. Okay, no, the slide is not here. But what we usually do is this. This is me, or this is you. Eh? You get one person. Once you get this person, you say, don't depend on your sons, or don't say, every one of us, we should be able to do it. You leave him and go away. And you say you have duplicated yourself. Is that not what we used to do?
Yes.
Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
No, you have not. Yes. In fact, you have set yourself for phenomenal failure. And you have set this guy for absolute failure. He may succeed if he gets internal motivation and seeks for information. But it's your right, it's your responsibility to sponsor him. So what you do is that you teach Joe how to teach Jan how to sponsor. Until you are 3 levels deep. Do you understand? before you can say you have reproduced yourself or you have replicated yourself, or you are 3 levels deep. Because when you live at this level, this person gets discouraged. He has not known anything, and anything can happen. But if at this level you live, what do I mean by live? You know, we are talking about 5 people the other time. So you have adequately touched these people. Then you went to look for another set of people. That means you have left these people because they have become consultants now, in my own language. Is that also? Your team will continue. The growth will continue. Are you getting my point? And then you go on to build more. So you can see now that by the time you now get there, 5 times 5, 25. 25 times 5, 125. 125 times 5, 625. So what are the number of people in your team? 7, 8, because this is 625 plus 125 plus 25 plus 5. Are you getting my point? So you have a total of 780 people in your team. But see what a salesman will do. For a salesman to get to 780, he will run around the whole of Jos. Maybe go to Abuja, maybe go to Lagos, travel up and down. If he's working like me, because he has a dream to change the face of Nigeria, he will get sacked in the process. But if he's not, and he's a professional salesperson, he gets himself worn down. Is that also? And then, each of those 130 people, he teaches them, or whatever it does, to get 5 people. You get 780. But is it possible for him to really be able to teach 130 people to be able to sponsor 5? No. Is it possible? No. It is almost impossible. We say, never say never in medicine. That's what we say. It's almost impossible. But even, let's assume that he's a Superman and he's able to do it. Which would you prefer? Working with 5 people? And still be able to do all the things you want to do? Or working with 130 people? Those of you who are Christians here, they taught me about John Wesley. When he was dying, he said, if I know what I know now, I won't do the same thing. Because he ran around the whole of America trying to win everybody to Christ. And he wore his strength off. He destroyed his marriage, literally. You have to walk with wisdom. This is wisdom. Are you getting my point? This is wisdom, this is possibility. This is dreams. And so, it is easier to sponsor 5 people and help them duplicate rather than running around with 130 people. Thank you very much.